Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Another day, another shooting hoax. And this one is coded with all the same numbers we've been talking about lately. Same numbers coded into the Roanoke, Virginia shooting hoax of just days ago. And the same numbers that have been coded into all of the shooting hoaxes in the time of Jade Helm, whether those shooting hoaxes be in Jade Helm states or not. We'll get to all that. Let's begin, though, just by listening to the mainstream rhetoric, hear what they're pumping out. Notice the emphasis on the word executed. There was a big deal made about that word in Roanoke. We'll talk about its significance in just a moment. Also, notice this district attorney's name, Devon Anderson, DA, just like DA for district attorney. These people are all paid actors, paid liars. She's about to go out and say that people are declaring a war on police based off this one incident that's a hoax. And think about it. The mainstream media, if they weren't here reporting on this, nobody would even know about this story. No one, because it's a complete lie. But they want to go out and say people are declaring war on police. That's what they want to happen, because they're trying to build this martial law, this bigger ordeal to cram through their agenda they have planned. So keep that in mind, as much as we really do need a war against police. They are not here to protect us, as this woman's about to say. Go back and listen to my video about my house getting robbed and what's happened to me with the police ever since. The police are worse than the criminals themselves. Here we go.
An assault on the very fact it is time for the silent majority in this country to support law enforcement. There are a few bad apples in every profession. That does not mean that there should be open warfare declared on law enforcement. The vast majority of officers are there to do the right thing, are there because they care about their community and want to make it a safer place. What happened last night is an assault on the very fabric of society. It is not anything that we can tolerate. It is time to come forward and support law enforcement and condemn this atrocious act. So please come forward if you have any information. We need to bring this killer to justice.
You know what, Truth Seeker? Let's remember this woman's name. At the end of this video, I'm going to look up her email address. Let's all send her an email and give her the information we know. We'll show them that we know this is a hoax and we're onto their game. We're going to close out this video with that. We'll get there.
I will echo also what the DA mentioned is some of the very dangerous national rhetoric that's out there today. Our system of justice absolutely requires law enforcement to be present to protect our community. So at any point when the rhetoric ramps up to the point where calculated, cold-blooded assassination of police officers happen, this rhetoric has gotten out of control. We've heard Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. Well, cops' lives matter too. So why don't we just drop the qualifier and just say lives matter and take that to the bank?
This story is very much about provoking the race war, part of the ongoing shooting agenda. When CNN first put out this story, they didn't have the officer's name up, but right away they went to their old tactics. They put up 44 minutes and kept it there all night. 44 is the kill number. The word officer has gematria of 44. From the very beginning, there was all this emphasis on execution style. Look at the officer's name, Truth Seeker. Darren H. Goforth. Darren was the name of the officer in the Michael Brown shooting hoax. One of these 33 names, just like the word police. The name Darren H. Goforth, Truth Seeker, sums to 85. And right now in all of these shooting hoaxes, the numbers 58 and 85 are being coded over and over. 33 is always coded into the shooting hoaxes, as I pointed out since the beginning. But in addition to the numbers they always code, it seems that there's numbers that become the coding of the time, or the coding of the day, if you will. And for the last month, that coding has been the numbers 58 and 85, and here we find it in this shooting yet again. They said that the officer killed, Darren H. Goforth, a ridiculous sounding name, was 47 years old. 47 is also one of these numbers we find routinely coded in the hoaxes. In Jewish gematria, the word mafia equals 47. And the people who wage these hoaxes against us are like a very well-organized mafia. The killing happened at a gas station, which has a gematria connection to 45, the kill number, so a reasonable location for such a hoax. The police officer who was just on the screen was named Ron Hickman, who has gematria of 52 and 106. Also familiar numbers. The word 106 is prophecy. Ron Hickman was on the TV talking about warfare against police, which is, I think, the prophecy the madmen are trying to have fulfilled. All part of their agenda to bring about their police state and whatever else they have in line for us as a nation. With regards to that word executed, they made a big deal about the word being used in regards to the cameraman and reporter Allison Parker. The name Allison Parker had gematria 58, just like Bridgewater, the location, had gematria 58, just like Vester L. Flanagan, the shooter, had named gematria 58. But that word executed, 33 gematria, numbers they love to code into the hoax. Also, look at Moneta, the location of the shooting, and executed in Jewish gematria, numbers that are reflections of each other, 622226. Anyhow, in this more recent shooting, the one of the officer in Texas, they say the killer's name was Shannon Miles. Shannon J. Miles. The suspect, identified as Shannon J. Miles, has been in police custody since Saturday. The name Shannon and the name Miles both have Pythagorean gematria of 31. This is interesting because Houston, it happened in Copperfield, a suburb of Houston, but Houston has the gematria of 31. Jade Helman Pythagorean gematria is also 31, and Texas is one of the Jade Helm states. The name Shannon Miles in simple English gematria, though, Shannon is 85, like Darren H. Goforth, and Miles is 58. Shannon Miles, 85, 58, kills the police officer with the 85 name in the wake of 58 and 85 being coded into all of the shooting hoaxes. The name Shannon J. Miles also has gematria of 153, one of these special spiritual numbers that are so often coded in the hoaxes. 153 fish in the miracle catch. And what's interesting is his initials have gematria of 42, a number often coded on black people, but as it happens, the word fish also has gematria of 42, and in the Bible, the miracle catch is of 153 fish. Not a coincidence, these people love to code this. If you go and do a search right now for CNN and the officer's name or Shannon J. Miles, it'll likely pull up something like this for you, Truth Seeker, with the number 44. They just do it all the time. It doesn't matter if the story's been up there for 8 hours, it's just going to say 44 minutes because they want to put that kill number right before your eyes. They're giving us this image of Shannon J. Miles and the officer, more black and white. From their reporting, read this. Hickman said the motive for the killing had not been determined, but investigators would look at whether Miles, who was black, was motivated by anger over recent killings elsewhere of black men by police that have spawned the Black Lives Matter protest movement. See, the media just wants to build this, re-emphasize it, reinforce it. That's what this is all about. That's why we're getting these stories every day. They know the nation doesn't have much of an attention span. They just want to watch their movies, watch their TV shows, play their video games. So the powers that be, they have to bombard us with lie after lie after lie on a daily basis in hopes that the message they want us to receive will sink in. Officials say Deputy Goforth had no previous interactions with Miles. I think that's something that we have to keep an eye on, Hickman said. The general climate of that kind of rhetoric can be influential on people to do things like this. We're still searching to find out if that's actually a motive. So do you see what they're trying to do, Truth Seeker? They're just trying to plant seeds in people's minds. You know, there's a lot of people who've suffered from injustice by police officers, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in this world who'd like to get vengeance, myself included. And by putting out these stories, reinforcing this, saying these things, that's what their hope is. That's what their aim is. That's the purpose of this agenda, at least in part. Now, as I was saying, in the time of Jade Helm, all of these shootings have been coded with the numbers 58 and 85, whether they be in Jade Helm or not. The shooting in Roanoke, Virginia is not a Jade Helm state, but it was still coded with these same numbers. And that's been true in other places that have had shootings in the time of Jade Helm. But notice that Jade Helm has Pythagorean gematria of 38 and Simple English of 58. This shooting just took place in Texas and was full of these Jade Helm numbers, both 31, 58, and its reflection, 85. But again, if you learn this gematria to read the numbers behind the words, you'll see through these hoaxes in no time. Whenever the media puts emphasis on words, it's full of coded numbers. Execution, a 44 word, the kill number, just like officer. Style, a word with 18 numerology. 18 special because when you break it into 3 parts, it becomes 6 plus 6 plus 6. The word officer, let me show you how officer looks in Pythagorean gematria in case you're new here. O is the 15th letter, 1 plus 5 becomes 6, F is 6, I is 9, C is 3, E is 5, R is 18, 1 plus 8 becomes 9. If you add it up, officer totals 44, the kill number. Officers get killed, they do killing. But notice how officer also begins with that 666 coding. Execution, style, killing. And killing has gematria of 38, just like the word death with Simple English. In Simple English, execution's 116, like 911 upside down. Style, 81. Killing, 74, one of the Masons' favorite numbers. And make no mistake about it, these Freemasons are real killers. You know, Daryl Dawkins just died at age 58. I suspect his death is real. This story right here of the Les Mis actor who died at 21, the first black actor to play the part of Jean Valjean from Les Mis, he had name gematria of 58. Supposedly just fell from a high fire escape, something that sounds unlikely. The point is the powers that be who wage this agenda against us, they really do work by these numbers. They really do code these numbers. The more you get to understand this language, become familiar with this knowledge, the more you see through what's being done. The rate that 58 and 85 is being coded is unreal. It's unprecedented. It's really picked up in the time of Jade Helm, and I'm showing over and over how it's showing up in these stories. We need to email that district attorney, Truth Seeker. We need to look up her email. Be right back with that. All right, Truth Seeker. So here's the DA's website. We just saw her giving the tough rhetoric, making this hoax, this lie seem as if it's real. She doesn't have an email address, but she does have a phone number. I'm going to call this number Monday. Right now, Saturday evening. They're surely not open. You can call and leave a voicemail. But I am going to call this person Monday since they want to go on the TV and talk tough and say all this stuff. And I'm going to point out to her how I have been doing this research. I've been showing how all these hoaxes are coded with the same number. And then voila, here's their story coded with these exact same numbers. You know, these people need to start getting called out. They need to know that people are on to their game. They need to know that this will not persist. This will be brought to an end. These people really need to be brought to an end, Truth Seeker. All right, until next time.